Thanks for visiting discoverestevan.com. Nolan Cole joined by Estevan firefighter Annie Bizier. Annie, thanks for doing this. How are you today?
I'm well. How about you?
I'm doing well, thanks, and thanks for doing this. And I know that the reason we wanted to talk to you is you're involved in a fun little competition right now, calendar competition. So just maybe tell me a little bit about what that is and how you got involved in it.
Okay, so yeah, it's the Saskatchewan Firefighters Calendar. So essentially, this little fun calendar is put together for the Jim Pattison Children's Hospital Foundation, I guess I should say. So all the funds going into the sales of the calendars, all this funds raised for voting and all of that, it actually goes to the foundation to support children and maternal health.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome. So it's a great fundraiser. And can you just tell me a little bit about what sparked your interest in it and why you decided to enter the competition?
So outside of the fire department, I'm a personal trainer. That's what I've done my schooling in. And so I don't know, I thought it was like best of both worlds, right? For me. So it was a fitness challenge, but at the same time, it had to do with firefighting. So I thought, what how can I better marry my passions, right? So I decided to go that route, and yeah, it's been quite the challenge. It's so fun.
So what criteria are they looking for? Like what exactly do you have to show to be considered?
To be perfectly honest, so initially, to be selected, you need to show your upper body. So just show, what your muscle tone is like in your arms. I wasn't sure if I had to send pictures of my abdominal section, so I did just in case. Um, so that was the initial criteria. But I think for the overall competition, you don't need to have a certain physique. They do offer a personal trainer who donates his time to the cause for to help us train up to and like get shredded for the competition. But I mean, yeah, because right now I decided to work with the trainer. That way I wouldn't have to do kind of, all the thinking behind the programming, the nutrition, all that kind of stuff. And we're not peaking yet in our physique. So they're saving that for the photo shoot in July. But yeah, so I think basically you do the best you can do. So if you decide to show up the way you are or show up, completely shredded, it's whatever you feel is right. And then at the end of the day, the audience and even online voting gets the final say. So
Yeah, awesome. And so I know there's some other Estevan firefighters who have gone in this in the past. Is that right? So they factor in as well?
yes, so we have Mike Woke who did it recently. There was Jordan Bond who did it, I think, a year or two before. I'm not quite sure of the timeline. Captain Lincoln Empey, he did it as well. And I hear there's maybe a guy or two from before my time. So it seems to be a very popular thing to do.
Right. And so are there different rounds? Like I think is it down to a certain number of people and then they're narrowing it down to a final 12 here?
Yes, so I don't know how many people applied, but from the people that apply, they typically tend to select 16 to 18 participants. So for this round, they have selected 16, I believe. So now there's the online voting that started, I want to say last week, and um, then during selection night, they'll tally up all the votes from the audience as well as all the online voting, and they'll select the 12 that make it to the calendar.
And sorry, so you'll find out later this year then?
April 22nd,
Oh,
hopefully.
that's so just over a week.
Exactly. Yeah, we get to do the whole show on the 22nd, and then we should be able to find out, I believe, that evening.
Yeah, what would it mean to you to be selected for the calendar, Annie?
Oh, it would be such an honor, to be honest. Not only because, I get to appear in the calendar, but I don't know. When it comes to this foundation, I did some research on it before I decided to sign up for it because I really wanted to see like where the money was going and just, make sure that everything was legit. Uh, and maternal health is actually something that I very much value because, I have 4 kids myself, and um, I know that mental health postpartum can be quite the struggle. And I work with moms actually postpartum to deal with pelvic floor dysfunction and stuff. So that's why I really want to raise funds, because if you get selected, then you have to sell at least 40 calendars. So by doing so, you're raising even more funds for the hospital. And, I'm thinking I'm lucky because my children are all very healthy, but I know it's not the case for every family. So if families that don't have, healthy children, who maybe one has or childhood cancer, at least they have the resources there to hopefully pull them through, right?
Absolutely. Now, will you have input into if you are selected, would you have input into the final photo that they use for the calendar?
I believe so. So they would do a photo shoot either at the end of June or beginning of July. And then I think you get to play around with a photographer on like what your pose you want it to be, or if you want to be holding tools or
Yeah. What about the month? Do you care what month you would be, or is that just secondary to getting in the calendar?
yeah, no, I'm not too particular on the month.
Fair enough. Yeah. Last question, Annie, and thanks again for doing this. How do people vote? And you touched on it already, but how can people vote for you?
So if you go to the Saskatchewan Firefighters calendar, sorry, I believe it's .com. So Saskatchewan Firefighters Calendar.com. You can select online voting. It comes up right on the homepage, and then it'll give you a grid of essentially all the pictures of the participants. And then you can choose how many votes you put for whichever participant you want to see in the calendar.
So people can vote more than once then?
They can,
Yeah.
yes. So you make a donation essentially, because it's, I believe, 50 cents per vote. But if you pay, I want to say $40, it gets you something like 80 votes. And then you can then, decide to distribute them however you see fit.
Terrific. Well, it sounds like it's a fun process for you, and I just want to wish you the best of luck and enjoy the rest of it. And we'll be following along. Thanks for speaking with us today, Annie.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.